How would you turn these beads? All exactly the same size. Carter & Son Tool Works sent me their new set of M42 bead forming tools and these 3 handles. Let's see what 20 years of, almost 20 years of bead turning tells me about them. Quick disclosure, they provide these to me free for review purposes. I'm not paid for this video and my opinions are my own. I just happened to be turning birdhouse ornaments when my Carter & Son beading tools showed up, so I didn't even bother to put a handle on one. I'm so excited to give it a try. So I'm going to use the 1/8 inch and put some beads on the bottom of this birdhouse. I'm going to speed up around 1300. You can rock it back and forth. As soon as it's round, you stop. A little bit more to go. And the next one. Give a little extra, a little different design. I did a fine job of adding a little extra feature to the bottom of this birdhouse. So the Carter & Son beading and bead forming tools come in 6 different sizes: 1/8 inch, 3/16, 1/4 inch, 5/16, 3/8, and 1/2 inch. And they're all made out of M42 steel, which is tougher. Holds an edge longer than the standard M2 steel that most of our tools are made of. One of the things I like about these tools, as well as all the Carter tools, is they come ready to use, fully sharpened, polished, very refined. The flutes are all hand polished, so you're going to get your best cutting edge off of them. Alright, let me show you how we're going to use these. Obviously, you're going to have it against the tool rest. You want the handle low. You're going to do very light pressing. Speed-wise, I don't know, 1,000 plus or minus for items like this. A little bit faster. I'm at about 1,500. So again, handle low. Engage it directly with both sides, and then you're just going to just wiggle it a little bit back and forth. And as soon as you see that flat edge, that flat crest gone, you're done. Now I'm using poplar, so it'll show it's a very soft wood, so it'll show every defect, and I've got a very nice surface. It's really that easy. Next bead's going to be 3/16. That was 1/8. I put that fang right in that slot. I'm going to wiggle it back and forth. Goes out a flat. Flat is gone. The next one. And the flat is gone. It's got a flat edge here for these set screws, so it won't twist. It won't twist. It's very solid engagement in the tool handle. This next one is the 3/8. I got a very smooth surface, it looks like, on all these beads, with absolutely no tear out on this poplar. Now, point tool will make a very nice small bead, you know, one this size. Drop the handle, roll it over. Gotta get that point out of it. Still got a flat edge there. But it still takes a little more effort to get a perfect bead. This one could probably do with a little bit more sanding on a couple of hard edges there. So the point is, yes, there are alternative methods for small beads, but as I showed when I did this with the beading tool, it's so fast and easy, it's pretty much foolproof. The point tool works fine, but it takes a little more effort and a little more practice to be able to get a nice refined bead. Light touch, perpendicular to the wood, both fangs touching at the same time, handle down low, and just waggle it back and forth. When the flat crest at the top goes away, stop. Go to the next bead. I need to hit that one more time. I think I missed this one. When you're turning handles, sometimes you want a little decoration on it like a bead. This can be a challenge to making them all alike, as you can see in this picture of my storage unit, where I did an article on turning handles, but trying to make beads on all those knobs exactly alike, it can be a challenge. But it's really easy with a beading and parting tool, because making exact duplicates is one of the major advantages of a beading tool. And you just wag it back and forth until the flat is gone. And we can do that for as many beads as many knobs as we want, and they'll all be the same. I bought 3 of the smallest D-way beading tools years ago after watching Harvey Meyer do a demonstration at my club for baskets of illusion. And he didn't use a handle, so I learned to use it and didn't use a handle. You can tell there's not a lot of leverage. It's not over the tool post very low. You're hanging the handle very low. And that works fine for very small ones. But you can see that the 3 smallest ones have a larger tang with the Carter and Son, so they're even easier to hold. And I find this works very, very well for me. You can see there's just not a lot of leverage. It doesn't hang over the tool rest very far. The angle is low, and the 1/2 inch is fairly convenient. You know, I find that once I get up to a larger size,
I'd say 1/4 inch or larger,
I start feeling a little uncomfortable. I'd rather have it in a handle. Carter and Son makes 3 handles. The smallest, and I think is their newest one when they came out of the beading tools, is an 8 inch, and I find that is a good size for the beading and tools, even the larger 1/2 inch, the 1/2 inch beading tool. They also make a 10 inch and a 12 inch, so you know, it depends on, there's no right or wrong, it's whatever your preference is. All the Carter and Son tool handles are machined to such a fine tolerance with their inserts that when you put it in, it tends to make a little pop as it sucks the air out because the tolerances is so close. The tools have a flat area, so the inserts go against that flat area so it won't twist. And then you just tighten them up with a Allen wrench that they provide.
And if you prefer to make your own handle, they have a handle adapter that comes with a template that's very nice.
So, who are these bead forming tools best suited for? Well, I would say for anyone doing production work, anyone doing a lot of the same kinds of beads, such as shown in these Baskets of Illusion project, where yes, you could turn it with a spindle gouge, but to make 100, 200, 300 of them in exactly the same, looking identical, the bead forming tool really is the cat's meow. But let me be perfectly clear. If you're a new wood turner, you need to learn how to turn a bead with a spindle gouge, and the skill you learn is transferable to many other tools, such as a bowl gouge for turning a bowl. And some projects, such as a baluster or a table leg or maybe a stool leg, may call for beads larger than the largest beading tool, which is a 1/2 inch. So beads are an essential part of many turnings, such as this little dish, similar to the one I turned on the lathe, with a bead on the rim and a bead on the underside. Bowls where you might turn multiple rings. Another one, multiple rings. Any number of spindle projects, such as this set of scoops, where each one of them has a bead, and you might want to have them very uniform. Boxes are my main thing. I almost always put a bead on the top of a box, and oftentimes a bead on the bottom as well. And then, of course, ornaments, birdhouse ornament, roofs. Here's an example where I had multiple beads, and being able to turn exactly the same size is a plus. Or turning a bead on a bell ornament. And if you're turning multiples, it just makes it a lot faster because it is foolproof, as I showed. Let's talk about sharpening these things. They've got a concave from originally being sharpened on a 8-inch wheel, so if you touch them here, you can hone these things very easily with a diamond or CBN hone. Just a few strokes, because you're going to hit this side and this side, and this works real well. Harvey Meyer, who sharpens these things a lot, is Baskets of Illusion, says you can get 10, 15, sometimes 20 hones out of this before you have to go back to a grind. These come, as I mentioned before, sharpened and ready to use with a 55-degree grind on it. To touch it up on the grinder, you can easily set the platform at any distance and just guide this thing in. Now, what I would suggest is turning off your grinder first. Every grinder is a slow-speed grinder when it's slowing down, and it only takes just a few microns to get this finished, just to get that edge touched up. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, to send a message out to the algorithm to put it in front of other like-minded viewers. If you're interested in turning beads, you might want to check out the video links I have here for two related videos. If you've used the Carter & Son beading tools on projects, leave a comment below on what you used them for and what kind of results you got compared to what you were doing before you got them. And remember, y'all stay safe. Come on back, you hear?